proudly have more than 400,000 veterans made Colorado their forever home because we're a great place to live, many of whom first discovered our state through their active service. But of course, we also have many active duty military personnel across the Denver and Colorado Springs area and several active commands. Our goal is for Colorado to be the best state for veterans, and this series of bills today really help bring that about. And whether the threat is behind enemy lines or a deadly virus, our brave Coloradans in uniform are always there in our time of need, and we are here for them. Marking this year's Memorial Day weekend, we are in endless appreciation of our freedoms that are protected by our men and women in uniform. Today we're signing legislation, first, that provides a stipend for veteran funeral services, one that makes it easier for children of active duty services members to enroll in school. This was an issue that was brought to the attention of legislators and myself because many of them get stationed here after a normal open enrollment period. We want to make sure they have the full set of choices in an open enrollment state with charter schools and school districts. And we also are going to be we also are very proud to make State Park Pass access free for our Purple Heart recipients. No matter your military background or which branch you served, we need a great place. Colorado's a great place to call home. And that's why I'm also signing bills to give back to Coloradans who sacrificed so much and will help our state build back even stronger. The first bill, Senate Bill 21015, we actually had to sign yesterday because they got it to us a little bit early, and there's a clock that we have to sign it by, and I wasn't about to allow it to become law without my signature because I supported it so much. I wanted to put my name on it, but we're observing that today. And that is the Veteran Service Organization stipend for funeral services. And I'll turn it over to Representative Ortiz to discuss that bill.
Thank you, Governor. I want to thank my fellow legislators that worked on this. I think it's appropriate that we're gathering as Memorial Day is coming up to talk about this bill. And I think it's important to recognize the service that veteran service organizations offer, especially when rendering final honors and rights. And that's one of the most important things you can do for friends and family as we're laying our service members to rest. So for all those reasons, I want to thank all of the stakeholdering and work that went into it, and I want to thank my prime sponsors in the Senate and the House for working on this bill. So thank you.
Thank you. And we want to thank Senator Garcia and Senator Cook and Representative Lynch. Did anybody else want to speak to the bill?
Thank you, Governor. Just briefly, again, how appropriate on Memorial Day weekend that we're signing these bills. Thank you, Governor. And this is a wonderful bill for the service organizations. They perform a lot of funerals. As a matter of fact, the Marine Corps detachment up in Greeley is performing a service today, a funeral service for a fallen Marine, and so most of them couldn't be here for the bill signing. This is important to recognize those that have fallen, but also the ones that recognize the ones that have fallen. The Honor Guards, the Marine Corps detachment up in Greeley put on 9,000 miles last year alone, driving back and forth to Denver for funerals at Logan service, and so sometimes they perform as many as 11 at Fort Logan. So I want to thank all the service organizations that do these funerals for the fallen heroes of our country. So thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Leroy Garcia. I'm the President of the Senate and proud Marine Corps veteran who served in Iraq in 2003 as War Chair First Specialist. Honored to be with each of you today to, Governor, have you sign these important bills. I think it's not only important to give back, and several of these bills give back, and then when members have made the ultimate sacrifice, but also, as you talked about the Purple Heart, access to state parks to allow our veterans to have access to enjoy Colorado's outdoors. So I look forward to the signing.
Great.
Thank you, Governor. Timing couldn't be better for this. Here we are approaching Memorial Day weekend, and it is a heart-wrenching experience to be the guy that hands that flag to a family member. I've had the unfortunate honor of doing that. And what this bill does is it makes it so that these veterans are respected all the way through. it's just a little thing. It's not, this isn't a big expenditure, but this helps our service organizations get there to make a lasting difference in these people's lives. So thank you.
Thank you. These are the pens from yesterday. Thank you. Congratulations. Our next bill, state park passes for Purple Heart recipients, 11 to 16. I want to thank Representative Ortiz, Representative Holtorf, Senator Liston, and Senator Garcia for their important work on this bill. And, it's only fitting, of course, that we honor our injured military heroes by providing free access to our great Colorado state park system. And, the ties between our outdoors and our storied military heritage are strong, from the famed 10th Mountain Division training grounds at Camp Hale. Members later went on to not only fight in World War II, but many returned to Colorado to found the modern ski industry. Access to our cherished outdoors and Wounded Warriors programs are really an amazing part of helping those who served us really thrive in our great state. And I'm turning over to Representative Ortiz.
Thank you, Governor Polis. This is another great bill. I got to thank Representative Holtorf for informing me about this bill and bringing me on. My personal lived experience speaks to the power of the outdoors. That became more apparent when I was doing rehab at Craig Hospital. All right, there we go. Doing rehab at Craig Hospital and was getting involved in adaptive sports programs. So for all those reasons, this was a no-brainer. Just because you receive a wound or receive the medal that nobody wants to receive doesn't mean you come away with a disability rating that would give you free access for the existing law we have now. So this just makes it right to make sure we're extending free park access to those that have Purple Hearts. So,
Thank you. And Representative Holtorf.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, all of you who are in attendance. I will tell you, as a veteran, as a combat veteran, as a retired colonel, and as a House District 64 representative, and also as a commander of a VFW in my hometown of Akron, Colorado. This particular initiative came from service members, Purple Heart recipients, who pointed out that when we last year allowed disabled veterans to have state park passes, we overlooked some of our most deserving patriots, the combat veterans that get the medal that nobody wants. And I'm here today to honor them. I want to thank my colleague, Representative Ortiz, and friend and fellow Army aviator, brothers in arms forever. I want to thank Representative Lister, Senator Lister, rather. I want to thank the governor. I really want to thank those that wear the Purple Heart that are here today. So thank you all very much, also Lieutenant Governor, and for the commander of the VFW and our national representative. There's just so many people to thank, but I'm going to, being a man of Wendy, I'm going to turn this back over to the governor.
Thank you. And we also have Senator Garcia.
Thank you, Governor. This is another important bill that highlights the fact that we're giving to veterans not only today, but I also want to thank the service organizations, the VFW, American Legion, Purple Heart, Marine Corps League. There's so many great military organizations who are advocating every single day for our veterans, and this is one of these bills that will help a long way.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Senator Garcia. My father was a World War II bomber pilot, and I'm a student of history, and I know extremely well the extreme sacrifices that our men and women in uniform do for our country, and especially for our Purple Heart recipients. I had a very good constituent who went in on the first wave at Omaha Beach and battled his way defending our country and freeing Europe. I received two Purple Hearts, and I'm in awe of all that they do. I was very honored that Representative Holtorf asked me to carry this in the Senate. I was pleased, and it's my great honor and privilege to do this for the men and women, and it's the least we can do for them. Thank you very much.
And And we're also joined by Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, Dr. Phil Tregley, Glenn and Paula Cooper, John Eckhoff, Paco Elizalde, Steve Jonas, Anthony Archer, and Ron Jones. And I want to thank all of those who served, and of course those who, through their service, received a Purple Heart and were injured in line of duty. We want Colorado's Great Outdoors, our state park system, to be part of your life, and we're glad to save you, what is it, about $80 a year or so with this bill. It's official. Congratulations. So the senators had to go upstairs for a vote, and we will resume the signings shortly. So this bill is HB 21-1217, Military Families Open Enrollment in Colorado has so many different options for kids. A little bit of feedback here. There we go. And this bill will make sure that those who are stationed here have every opportunity to be able to make the best choices for their kids within a district, between districts. I want to thank Representative Bacon, Representative Bockenfeld, Senator Fields, and Senator Lundeen. We're also joined by Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, who leads us off.
See if we can do away with the feedback. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Governor Polis, for being here and for signing this bill. I would also like to thank the military members and their families that are in attendance this afternoon. Without the promise of open enrollment, active duty service parents with school-aged children are on double duty to ensure that when they receive orders to their next assignment, that their kids will have the opportunity to pick up where they left off in their education and their social development. So because balancing service to country and service to family is hard enough, I'm proud that the bill ensures that our inbound active duty parents don't have to fight twice as hard for an uninterrupted quality education for their children here in Colorado. So now as we work to safely open schools or open every classroom to all students in the fall, this bill gives inbound active duty parents peace of mind that their child can be enrolled and remain in the school that best fits their needs. It also extends priority preference to extended younger siblings as well. So finally, I want to thank the bill sponsors for their work on this important legislation, continuing Colorado's long tradition of supporting our military families. So now I'm happy to turn it over to Representative Bacon.
Thank you. I'd like to extend my gratitude as well to all of you for your service. Thank you to my co-sponsors. As someone who works closely to a school district and who works in education, we realize that the lack of access for these families was certainly a wrong that needed to be corrected. So honored to be a part of this bill. Our military families deserve so much. I think there are more that we should probably be able to do for your service, but at the very least, we who work in school districts can be able to clear some pathways to allow all of our students who are moving into our wonderful state to be able to connect to schools and programs that are great fits for them, just as we do for any other neighbor of ours. So thank you so much for the work done on this bill. Thank you for your service. Thank you to all of your little ones for being great students for your teachers. And now I'd like to pass it off to my co-sponsor, Representative Bockenfeld.
Thank you very much, Representative Bacon. I want to give you a little bit of a history on this bill and some of the challenges that we had. I like to think of this bill as being a grassroots bill because it started on the Buckley Air Force Base, and it was started by a coalition of military spouses. And they contacted their city councilman, Mr. Curtis Gardner in Aurora at the time, and Curtis introduced them to my office to start working on this bill. We initially started working on the bill in the 2020 session. And I had some discussions with Senator Fields at that time in regards to maybe running this as a late bill, but as COVID hit and things transpired the way they were, we were unable to deal with it in the 2020 session. Need to also acknowledge my aide. I had her step up here because she's kind of the glue that kept this stakeholder group together. And Chelsea Peters, my aide, pulled everybody together through the summer, and we worked on this bill to get it right so that we could get it passed. Some of the challenges that we were faced with. And I also like to recognize the champion of this bill, which is Mrs. Alicia Pepper. Without her hard driving force and continued commitment to make this bill come to fruition, I don't believe it would have happened. But let's talk about a few of those challenges. As you know, we have a local control state when it comes to our school districts, and trying to coordinate a military issue, which is really a statewide issue amongst local control districts, is sometimes challenging. And but we were able to work our way through it, and to the best interest of the military children in this state. And I think it's also important to point out that there was an analysis done on Colorado a short time back by the Pentagon, and they identified military open enrollment as an area that Colorado can make some improvements on. And so it was important that we take some steps at this time to bring this bill forward and start improving the opportunities for our military children. This bill is the first step in the improvement that we need to make, and I think we're going to get further recommendations from the military families and stuff going forward on some things that we might be able to do to further make some enhancements on this particular issue. And as the governor said, Colorado and the military have a long heritage together, and it's very, very important. And the military serves a significant role in Colorado's economy. And I'm honored to play an important role in further nurturing that relationship. Before I close, I would like to recognize some folks who helped get this bill past the finish line. And I don't want to leave out the cities of Colorado Springs and the city of Aurora. Both of them had passed resolutions asking us to keep this bill on a sure footing, and their help was tremendous. Also like to recognize Aurora City Council members Curtis Gardner and also Dave Gruber. Dave Gruber used to be a commander at Buckley before he retired and is now an Aurora City Councilman, and he was part of our stakeholder group. Senator Rhonda Fields from Aurora, Senator Paul Lundeen from Monument. You heard from Representative Bacon. She's from Denver, but she brought some valuable experience from her education perspective that she has to this bill. And I also want to recognize Representative Terry Carver from Colorado Springs. She was behind the scenes, but she also kept working. And most importantly, I would like to recognize the military spouses of Aurora and the military spouses of Colorado Springs. They were, again, another hard driving force behind this bill. So thanks to everyone, and I'm honored to have this opportunity. And at this point, Senator Fields, I'll hand it to you.
Another co-prime sponsor. The words that come to my mind right now is, oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
This is a happy day because when this was brought to my attention, being a military, I don't want to say brat, but I was, you know.
You're still a brat, but.
Yeah. I never knew the challenges that my mom faced as it relates to enrolling me in school. I mean, she kept some things from me, and she just handled things. Like, we would travel from base to base, and she would hang up the pictures, and she would just make it home. And then I heard from the mamas of military families, and I can tell you, never ever underestimate the love that a mom has for her kids. And when I heard their challenges and their stories, I felt like I needed to do something. So I want you to know this bill would not have been possible if you did not lend your voice to the challenges that you face. I had no idea that you needed to have a residence before you can enroll in school. And some of the stories we heard is that they would rent a house before they were even stationed here, like months before. Can you imagine the expense of doing that? And not knowing the opportunity of where your kids might be at school, because, you know, it's open enrollment and there's a deadline for that. But we fixed it. Oh, happy shy of lending your voice to challenges that you're facing?
Thank you, Senator Fields. School districts have calendars, the military has a calendar, and when the call of service intersects in a difficult way for families, we should never cause a family to choose over the call of service or the call of family. And so this bill in a little way helps resolve that matter. But I want to thank the bill sponsors, the co-sponsors on this. I want to thank the governor, of course, for signing this. But most of all, I want to thank Mrs. General Pepper for making this happen. Thank you all for your work.
Hello, thank you all for being here. Governor Polis, thank you for agreeing to sign this bill in person today. It means a lot. Thank you to Representative Bockenfield, Senator Fields, Senator Lunding, and Representative Bacon for sponsoring this bill. Chelsea and Brita, we couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you. For all the text messages and emails. Thank you to Dave Gruber and Steve Corley, who every time I saw them, I gave them my 2-minute elevator speech. And not only did they support me, but they connected me to others who would help support this. I want to thank the Colorado SLOs, Devin, Maddie, and Luke. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for seeing this through with me. This bill is going to allow the families who come behind us to have a better opportunity with Colorado Choice. There were a lot of stories that were shared. There's a lot of military families who are happy to come to Colorado, happy to get into the school system. But without this bill, our families were being kept out of Colorado Choice due to the open and closed enrollment dates. So thank you for this. And thank you to all of my military spouses for coming and sharing your stories and continuing to fight for this. Thank you.
It's now officially law of Colorado. We are now signing the United States Space Force, HB 21-1231. I want to thank Representative Ortiz, Representative Lynch, Senator Fields, and Senator Bridges. We'll give people a moment. Okay. So we all know that Colorado is the best state for permanent basing of the U.S. Space Command. It's something that of course, Republicans and Democrats come together to agree on, and we just know that the objective facts bear that out. No other state in the nation has the preponderance of national space security, space operations, defense, space production capabilities, highly skilled and talented aerospace workforce, and as we demonstrated by signing these other bills, very supportive policies of military families. It's my honor to turn it over to Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you to the bill sponsors, the State Aerospace and Defense Caucus, and advocates for strengthening our aerospace industry and supporting our national security. As the chair of the Colorado Space Coalition and the vice chair of the National Aerospace States Association, I'm thrilled about this win for Colorado aerospace and for our nation, which implements the state Space National Guard and adds the U.S. Space Force in statute, ensuring the newest branch of our military rightfully joins the ranks of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard. At the foot of the Rocky Mountains, we're already a mile closer to the heavens as well as the mission. We are the epicenter for national security space, and this legislation continues to demonstrate why Colorado is at the gravitational center of this critical mission. We're home to hundreds of thousands of talented people who explore new horizons and harness new technologies in the government, private sector, and military on a daily basis. And I look forward to launching our success to new heights with the Space National Guard joining Colorado's comprehensive landscape of military installations and fast-growing companies. So thank you, and I'll turn it over now to Representative Ortiz.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor and Governor. I really appreciate all the work that went into this. I mean, this is a no-brainer, and this is proof that government can be proactive and work together when we put our differences aside and get stuff done. We're one of the first states, or one of the premier states that is doing this to be ready. Not only is it putting it in state statute, but it's getting ready for when funding does come out in FY22. So I'm proud to be a part of this effort and glad to have worked with all the sponsors on this bill. So thank you.
Thank you, Governor, for your hard work on this and getting this over the finish line. What I hope comes out of this is that it makes the statement to the current administration that this is the home of space command, and we can do what we can to make sure that stays here where it's already at. So it's a real honor to be part of this bill. Thank you very much for your hard work and real honor. I'm also happy to say that I believe that today there are 2 West Pointers in space right now. So this is not necessarily, I'm an Army guy, but I'm glad to see that those guys are in space right now. So.
Well, oh, happy day again. Because we have the Space Force Command that's going to be a part of the National Guard. And when I think about what goes on in Colorado Springs as it relates to NORAD Mountain and all the surveillance that they're doing, this is a good day for the state of Colorado. So I want to thank everyone that's been a part of this bill. We need to make sure that we own this, and we have. So thank you. Senator.
Thank you, Senator. In Colorado, we do space. We are a mile closer to space. We have the 2nd largest economy in aerospace in the entire country, second only to California. And when you look at it per capita, we are way ahead. We are number 1. Aerospace is a core part of what we do here in Colorado. And Space Command is a core part of what we do on the military side here in Colorado. Space Command needs to stay here. Space Force needs to be headquartered here. Yes. And with this bill, we will be the first, or at least among the first in the country, to recognize in our statutes Space Command and Space National Guard. Space Force and Space National Guard. And so this is symbolic. But as we know, especially in the military, symbols have immense power. So hopefully this, along with the bill that we just signed, along with the Veterans Hiring Preference bill that we are going to sign, we're going to pass and sign, will send the message to Washington that Space Command stays in Colorado and Space Force is headquartered right here in Colorado.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's official.